Welcome back to B Coaching and Consulting's What Works Weekly, where every week we talk to a business professional in all different aspects to try to give you a broad picture of people that can help you in wherever you need it. To be honest with you, this week I talked to Nate Byram, and we're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about fitness and weight loss, goal setting. This is a great episode because this is a person that has actually transformed their life over the last 5 to 10 years. And a lot of it came down to accountability and coaching. So I think it's a wonderful episode for anybody that's in a marriage, that runs a business, that is looking for structure. I hope you enjoy my time with Nate. I need some intro music from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Nate Byram. What's up, brother?
Couple of banjos. What's happening?
How are you?
Good.
What's the best part about your life right now?
Best part about my life is, man, I am healthy. I'm grateful, super blessed. Honestly, so every area I've got something to be grateful for really right now.
Yeah? You just
Yep.
did tell me about the triathlon.
So triathlon. So honestly, I just, some other coaching students and coaches have done some full Ironmans and half Ironmans, and I'm not there yet, but been on a crazy, crazy health and fitness journey. I mean, I've personally lost, I'd say probably 35 to 40 pounds. My wife is like, we stopped counting at 150. So this was kind of the next challenge for me of pushing my body, being diligent, finding kind of a rhythm and yeah. So I did my sprint triathlon 2 weekends ago, finished a good time. And I decided about 30 days before that I was going to do it. So now now I got the bug. So
So you like to find things that you want to accomplish and you go after them.
that is the game that we play for sure. I mean, it's pushing yourself into open water, so to speak, which is the first part of the triathlon, which is, ships were built for not staying in the harbor, essentially. I think I butchered that quote, but yeah, that's kind of how I like to live, is not just pushing for the next climb, but 1% growth of consistency every day. And sometimes that looks like an event or a race or an outcome, but really it's kind of the daily thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're married, you've got kids. How long have you been?
Happily married. Dan Martell says very married when people ask him, but very
Yes.
married. Been married, yeah, this July, actually, this month will be 11 years. I met her in the school cafeteria at our college, and remember exactly what she was wearing, what she was doing, the friends she was hanging out with, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, 11 years this year. And then two kids, 4 and 3, 13 months apart. So really and truthfully, that's why we work out so hard, is to try and match their energy for
Right.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And your wife has a business too.
She does. Yep. Yep. Mom, dreamt entrepreneur, women's clothing, primarily online. And we're kind of shifting to some in-person stuff here in Chattanooga, which has really helped the brand and help her grow. But to date, she has doubled gross revenue this year than what she did last year. So it's nuts.
You track everything?
We do. Yep. Yep. We track, we have we use QuickBooks, and then for, of course, all the finances, but the primary analytics software plugs into the shipping. I mean, pretty much to start to finish. It's called Shopify, website production, everything. But we meet once a week. It was last night from about 7:30 to about 8:30 every night. And we go through the financials. We go through the stats and all the analytics. We go through inventory. We look at the schedule. I'm kind of like the COO and CFO, so I've got my to-do list, and I got to pay the taxes each month, or for the sales tax, and there's some other things that we do. But growth and I mean, she sold so much this year that we were looking at the inventory last night, and I'm like, man, we got like a couple of months worth, and that's it. So it's a good problem for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a board meeting once a week.
Board meeting for the business, and then we do what's called like a weekly check-in, essentially, normally Saturday mornings, where we ask a couple of questions regarding, how did I show up for you this week? How was it? What can I do better? We talk a little bit about the meal plan, calendar, and schedule and all kind of stuff, but a great time to reconnect. especially emotionally before we kind of get down into the business. But yeah, it's single-handedly turned my marriage from I was about to make a phone call to say, "Hey, I think I need an attorney." We were that far gone, and this one thing of a weekly set aside time asking these couple of questions turned the course from really really bad to, I mean,
Yeah.
it's my legacy at this point. Besides all the businesses and everything else that we do, my marriage is the legacy that I will leave behind for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing though. And I think that's probably what I'm dealing with. I've got three houses right now that I need to sell for people that have been married. And we're not talking 2 or 3 years. We're talking 8 to 25 years. And the one thing that has been consistent across them is at some point in time, they stopped communicating, whether it was they were involved in the kids' lives or they just, and one uh, just kind of took a different path and they, they divided mentally because I think it goes mental and then it goes emotional. Um, but I love the tactic. My wife and I do it 2 to 3 times a week, which is, hey, let's just spend some time with the two of us about where we are. What are the plans? Do you guys do 1 5 year visions, things like that?
We do. We do. Yeah. It's, it's kind of evolved over the years because we weren't really good at goal setting. And I think we're still so at it. But we more or less talk about what we want to look like, what we want to feel like, what does life look like, and each of what we call kind of our Fab Five categories: fitness, of course, marriage, which is what we call fidelity, fellowship, which is friends and family, finance, and then faith, of course. So those are kind of our five key areas that we focus on daily, weekly, monthly, and so it's kind of more of, yes, the 1 year of what these things look like at that time, what we want to feel like, what they, as if we're there. We do more than like setting the whole like, hey, we want to be, check this box off by this time. I think sometimes going that vision route is simpler, easier, and you can kind of back into some of the tactical stuff from there for sure.
Sure. You're casting a vision of who you want to be in the future. And then if you can see it, I mean, this is Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill and a lot of people take it and they go, oh well, it's the secret. Well, if the brain can imagine it and the mind can see it, then you can do it. You simply need steps, tactics, implementation, and the dream. So
When you
when
and I
did
have talked about this a lot, sorry to interrupt, but is this pull versus push mentality of like when you do that, when you focus on that vision, when you start to imagine it and meditate on it, and it's like the universe, your creator, it's just these things start pulling towards you that start lining up. And so I think that's for me the whole point of is it starts to pull versus you're pushing, trying to make things happen and tried to, just, I mean, there are some push moments of it, but
Sure,
what that vision is
sure.
just so strong. It just pulls it into your gravity, into your universe,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't say it's easier, but I like it better. The process I feel like is better there, pulling rather than I'm trying to push.
It's a much more fun space to be in. Yeah. When did you get into this growth mentality?
Oh goodness. I feel like it's always kind of been a part of my life. I mean, growing up playing sports, you're trying to get to the next level. I mean, grades, obviously you're in grade school. So there's always this kind of mindset, but it wasn't really until, and I'll tell you a quick story. Living in Nashville, met a guy at a department store. We were in the shoe section and he commented on my boots. And I told him where I got them, which was Target. Um, we ended up going to Target after that. He finds me there in the shoe aisle trying to find those same pair of boots. And he's like, man, this is crazy. We need to get together. So asked me to meet him in an Embassy Suites lobby. Kind of weird, kind of late at night, but they had a bar, super nice place. We're chatting, and towards the tail end of the conversation, he whips out this book, and it's just like, "Hey, if I asked you to read this book, how quickly would you read it?" And I was just kind of so taken back by the question, kind of a bizarre experience that I was like, I mean, at the point, I'd never really written a book all the way through. So I was like, I mean, I guess I'd take a look at it and see what I could do. Um, Maybe a weekend, maybe it would take me. And he said, thank you. He shook my hand, grabbed the book and his coat, and he left. The book was The Compound Effect. And
Yeah.
I went home. I ordered it on Amazon Prime immediately. It came the next day because there's an Amazon place or a warehouse in Nashville. So it arrived pretty quickly. And I read it in a night. And I think that's when my mind exploded. Compound Effect, Darren Hardy. It's really the daily, which builds into the weekly. It's compounding interest principle, essentially. And so
Right.
that's when my mind went, oh man, I can learn and grow more outside of the grade school. And I meant to. And so for me, I think that was about 10 years ago when it really sank in that growing is about learning, just getting a little bit better every single day. And from there it has bled into, every area.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're in the mortgage business. You started on the operation side. You're no longer on the operation side.
Nope. Nope. Thankfully, those people are hard workers on the outside. But I'm second generation mortgage. So my mom's in mortgage, got an internship, did really well. They asked me back, and yeah, sales was never in the cards for me. I just couldn't stomach 100% commission and the risk that came therewith. But I learned very quickly. Operations is I mean, it's great living, great job, but I really wanted to kind of live and die by my own sword. And there's only a certain ceiling, essentially, on an operations end of things. You meet a ceiling at some point in time, and for me, I didn't want a ceiling. I didn't want to feel like I was capped. I didn't want to feel like I was, especially salary capped, but didn't want to feel like there was only one path or a few paths for me. I wanted to kind of chart my own course.
Yeah. You wanted something that fed more into the growth mindset. I like that. Now, did you realize you were going to have to become a leader also?
Yes. So in my ops journey, worked with thousands of loan officers. Most of us, I mean, still, I count myself in there. We're knuckleheads. We're still growing, still learning. I feel like there's just high margin industry. But leadership is something that is newly developed, is a skill set that I think you have to, I mean, always get better at. But I really thought I'm going to do this by myself and I'm going to make bukudos of money and I'm not going to need anybody. I'm not going to have to count on anybody and I'm just going to do it all myself.
Yeah.
And I got to about 20 million, 21 million in 6 months by myself. And I realized I am in deep waters. I can't give the service that I want to. I can't be the man at home. Those 5 categories were just I mean, out the window. The only thing I could focus on was my business. And so at that point, I realized I got to hire a team. And then once you hire and staff, even 1, 2, 3 people, and we hired about 3 people in about 6 months, I realized I was very weak as a leader, and casting that same vision in my life to them, I was very weak as a leader. And so leadership is something that I've really need a lot more work in, but it's something that I am focusing heavily on now.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. What tools do you use in a daily, weekly basis? Because you got a lot going on. Wife has a business. You have a business. You're not just a loan officer. You're running a team. So you're a leader in that aspect. You got 2 young kids. Um, you've got the 5 F's that you're dealing with. And I mean, that's a lot to do. How do you keep it all? How do you balance it?
I saw this Instagram reel where somebody was on a talk show and they asked the same thing. And he was like, I just don't keep up with it. Like most days it feels like that. Um, Clarity, confidence. And I think both of those come just being super simple. And simple comes from, I mean, nowadays, thankfully, in the era that we live, I mean, technology.
Yeah.
I mean, Chat GPT is my friend. I mean, he's been a coach, a counselor, a therapist. He's been my assistant. He's been, I mean, my programmer. I mean, he has done so much for me. And goodness, I think I downloaded Chat GPT for the first time maybe 60 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I,
now
I remember that conversation.
I am a believer. Yep, yep. So I mean, text one. I mean, coaching. Obviously, you've been a fantastic coach, and with B, I mean, there's endless coaching opportunities to learn and study under many people, and so for that,
Yeah,
super grateful of advice and
totally.
wisdom. But I'd say one of the difference makers for us is we rely heavily on both tech and calendar and scheduling. On the tech end of things, of course, B Connect has been a all in one, just, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest with you. I mean, each day I find out something new that we can do with either lead funnels and capturing information from ads and marketing to, I mean, phone systems, texting. We use a lot of automation with texting, in each individual lane, from client onboarding to profile and application review to pre-approval to contract beyond. I mean, we use a lot of automation with scripts and things that keep people informed, on track, and it really makes it feel like we're right there, focusing on them solely the entire time, which I think creates this I'm the only client that they're working on kind of type experience, which I think we really need in today's world. Uh,
Totally.
but I
And
mean,
and those automations, I was talking to a real estate agent this morning that has an automation for open houses. So people walk in, all they have to do is put in the name, phone number, email, and the AI will take over the qualification for them, the nurturing, all of it. It's amazing what technology does now compared to 2 or 3 years ago. And I think it's mind blowing in 2 years when we look back and have this conversation and go, holy cow.
very much so. Yep. I remember, I mean, it was the Las Vegas event that we did, was it April of last year? And Neil Dingra got up and was just like, essentially, no, I don't think. I get asked all the time if AI is going to replace us, and I don't, but I truly believe we will be replaced by people who utilize it. And
Correct.
so well, that was a big, like, man, there's so many people out there that are using it, and the simplicity behind taking time off of my plate, putting time back into my plate from different tasks and things. So yeah, I think that piece of the tech and AI and everything that we can use to automate it, it creates a better, more efficient experience. And I mean, you can start to focus on the energy, life giving, that bring the most revenue, which I think is our main task,
Right.
which essentially boils down to making the phones ring, if you want to get simple.
Well, yeah, but it also gives you another tool as an LO because historically loan officers have pursued real estate agents and it's call them, get coffee with them, tell them how you're going to do it. If you can show them ways to better their business, to make them more efficient, to help more clients in a better way with a better experience, you go back to the rising tides lift all boats theory, and you come from a place of, hey, for my clients, I genuinely want to help you. I use technology to make our relationship more efficient. So when you need me, I'm right there. So how do you have to do certain things every day? There are you got to talk to a certain number of people. How do you keep track of those things?
Well, I mean, B Connect is one of the biggest things. Outside of my calendar, really having what we call like an energy flow, like each day has a particular theme, and flow to not only meeting structure, but to call structure, the type of workouts that I do in the morning. I mean, it's so my calendar, I think, one allows me to, hey, for this hour block of time, Tuesday
Focus. So
rank.
that's the focus aspect,
Yep.
right? I'm gonna, because we can't multitask. So
Cannot. No, we just cannot. No, I learn that more and more as my arrogance grows and my confidence grows too, of like, oh yeah, I could, do this and text this person and send this email over, and it is not good. It is yep, 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 yep. Multitasking Nate is not the person that I like to be, for sure. But as far as tracking goes, I mean, within B Connect, of course, there's the app that we use to track. I mean, anything, whether you're weak or strong or that moves the needle, whatever it is you want to focus on. I mean, B Connect has an app that I've got on my iPad and on my phone. And so either in the morning or in the afternoon before I leave, and ultimately, last end of the week too, to make sure reporting is correct. We track phone calls, we track face to faces. I'm podcasts and other growth books and minutes
Oh
that
yeah.
we're doing that.
Social
Um,
media.
so yep.
I had to add workouts to it this week. You inspired me to get into better shape. So rather than just yoga,
Well,
rather than
good.
just that, I'll actually lift weights. So I did exactly what I should do, which is I said I want to be different in this category. I want to be more in shape. I want bigger arms. I want a larger chest. I can do a couple things. I can go get testosterone shots and do a little bit of lifting, or my wife doesn't like anything being injected, so I've got to eat better. I've got to work out. So I went and hired a trainer and said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to make me better." And one of the categories that we can track through the app is workouts. So kind of like the 75 hard app type thing.
And the app is super simple, which I love because you can track all these things during the week, but sometimes that can be very overwhelming in order to remember those things. And so in starting it, there was one area of like, hey, phone calls. This week, I'm just going to focus on phone calls. So if that's the only goal that I put in there, then I am honing in on like, I am just tracking these calls for the week. And really, that's the only thing that allows you to put in a goal. Next week, hey, I'm going to do calls and face to faces. So then I'm focused on just those two things. And then if I'm regressing, I can kind of start back simple again. I think simple is super sustainable. I also think, tons of videos on Kobe Bryant, Michael
Right.
Jordan. Their routine in the gym, it was 1,000 free throws, 1,000 layups, whatever it was. It was just super simple, that nobody would follow the basics and being simple like that. And
No.
so for me, if it's not simple and it's overcomplicated, I can almost 100% guarantee I'm not going to be consistent. I'm not going to achieve those results. And this is such a simple way to track 1, 2, 10 things, whatever it is. I think you're at the place in order to track,
Yeah.
really the mindset to track, then it's really
Well,
the perfect tool.
Michael Jordan said that the basics never change, but your attention to them does. So, yeah, we've got 16 different things in your life, activities that need to be accomplished, that you can choose from, and you can set the goals every week. You can change them. The nice thing is whatever the student does gets emailed back to the coach at the end of the week. So the coach can go back and say, "Hey, why were your calls late? Yeah, I love that." Okay. So basically what you're telling me is it's okay to it's good to set goals. It's good to have a vision. You also need to have focus. You need to have tactics and clarity around that.
Yep.
Cool. All right, brother.
100%.
That's it. Well, I'm very proud of you. I think you're doing awesome. Is there any last words that you'd like to throw in for anybody watching?
Man, I'm super grateful for you. Honestly, I mean, this getting to meet you and be a student with you. I mean, you are light years beyond where other mentors are and other coaches are. And I mean, just our conversations have really hit me deeply. And one of the things that you said was, I started this coaching company to help people get to the level of success that they wanted to strive to. That was the main thing that we want to accomplish. And I think I'm a product of that. I know other people are a product of that. And so even just being a part of this is like, what do you, Nate, Mike, whoever it is, what do you want to accomplish? And how do we get there is the question that we ask. We've got tactics, we've got scripts, we've got, trackers, we've got all these different tools. But at the end of the day, it's truthfully like, how can we help you get to be to the place to where you want to be, the person that you want to be, have the business that you want to, and all these other things. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, is play the hand of cards that we have been dealt to the absolute best of our ability, so that we get to our end of our days and our Creator says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And I think that's why we're here. And so just want to say thank you, because you've helped me even in the 60 days that we've been together. And of course, I'm looking forward to the next semester, starting here the next week. It's been some of the hardest, I think, couple of weeks and challenging for me. And you and I have talked about, you've seen me at a very low spot that doesn't normally happen, but maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. And you've allowed me to be vulnerable and help me through those things. So I'm grateful.
No, no, I appreciate it. I've watched too many guys get rich and miserable, and I've been there, and it's not worth it. So I appreciate you letting a real estate agent coach a loan officer.
I was ecstatic when I had first signed up. It was like, hey, you can have a realtor coach or a lender coach, and I think the cross pollination is so great because at the end of the day, my main job at this point is, of course, making the phones ring, but
Sure,
how to provide solutions to our realtor partners' problems.
that's it.
And that's what we lose sight of sometime in the transactions and even in the process and in the tracking. Yes. And truthfully, it's like, you will always have a job. You'll always have leads if you are helping to draft, create solutions to the problems in the market, problems and buyers and sellers that the realtors are facing. And so it's really, really neat to see that, on the lender side of things, we can get so focused sometimes on the things that are super important to help us grow. But at the same time, at the end of the day, having you as a real estate agent really, I mean, it's awesome when I sit down with a partner and I'm like, I've got a realtor who is not just a realtor. It ain't just a beginning salesman, a seasoned veteran who is in every sense of the word successful, that is coaching me, mentoring me, and that is allowing me to view the inside of your world so I have a better understanding on how I can fit and not just, be a commodity, not just be somebody that takes apps and gives pre-approval letters, but that truthfully walks in stride with you and knows the problems that you're going to see and have before you even see them. And I think that's the difference.
And I think that's the basis of true relationships. And my problem with our industry is that our industry, we become commoditized. The real estate agents become commoditized to the public, and the lenders become commoditized to the realtors. So, if we can actually practice what we preach, which is we are people who help other people, and we do that at scale, then I think the sky's the limit. And the key is knowing who you want to be and then working towards being that
I
person. So
agree.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
When you
love it.
focus on the needs of others, your needs will always be met.
Bingo, bingo. The Lord will provide. Yeah, you'll be good. All right. Well, thank you, brother. Have a great day.
Thank you.
See ya.